Hello and welcome back to the Orlando Adventures podcast. I'm your host, Russ, and this week I'm delighted to be joined by another fabulous guest. We've got Steve Wilton from Steve's Disney Adventures. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. I've been so excited to come on here. I've been listening to all your podcasts, all the shows.
Oh, good man.
Counting down the days. Really happy to be here.
Nice. We've had it in the diary for a little while, so to kind of be here, I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to you. So who are you, Steve? What is Steve's Disney Adventures?
Well, Steve's Disney Adventures it's just my little messy YouTube vlog experiences of stuff I'm going through in my life. I really wanted to capture the memories. I know everyone says that, but I really did, because in my past jobs and things like that, I used to do a lot of traveling around America, and I didn't really capture anything. Didn't really have the technology at the time as easy as it is now, in terms of having such good quality on iPhones. I just fell in love with Disney. I wanted to capture every single moment of it. So that's why I sort of started the channel. But yeah, I love the community as well. That's probably one of the things that most surprised me, the amount of really good friends I've made. And it's just really nice. And sometimes people say, hey, I watch your stuff and I love watching it, and kind of keeps you going. And I just enjoy it. I mean, can't say I'm always in the mood to do it when I'm there. I think I sometimes think, I just want to have a chill day today. So there's plenty of trips that I've done where I haven't. I enjoy it, and it's nice to go with different people. And
yeah, definitely. And honestly, I will say that your YouTube videos are great. I really, really do enjoy them. I think they're fantastic. I think you're entertaining as much as anything. I genuinely, I think you're great to watch, and you're giving information but entertaining at the same time. So you're smashing
bless
it.
You. That's really sweet of you. Thank you. I probably censor myself a little bit because I've got a bit of a sense of humor, and I think I'm in Disney, and it's such a balance of everything, isn't it? Because it's not like a niche kind of audience. It's such a it's for everyone, for all ages, and it's really interesting actually when you start vlogging, because you think to yourself, am I coming across as myself, or am I trying to be like something I've watched? But it takes a while to get into the flow. But yeah, I just hit the camera and off we go.
Yeah, good man. Like that. How long have you been doing kind of your Instagram and your YouTube then?
I used to work for a wrestler called The Ultimate Warrior, who was a WWE legend. So I was his business manager. So I used to go all over the United States, and I'd never, before I worked for him, that was like my sort of breakout job. So I always loved Disney growing up. I could never afford to go. So I always watched all the, all the movies, all the content, always had the merchandise, loved Mickey. Mickey's like my everything, love him to death. And Warrior loved Disney. So he used to go to Disneyland, California. And he always said to me, you need to go. And his favorite thing, he used to just like to sit on Main Street and people watch. And we were going all over the States and stuff, doing Comic Cons and signing events and things like that. And our last one we did before he sadly passed away, we went to WrestleMania 30. We were inducted into the Hall of Fame. And he said to me at that time, if anything happens to me, promise me you'll go to Disney. So he passed away in 2014. And then 2016, my sister, who's been a few times, she loves Disney, and she's in some of my vlogs. She was going to Florida, and she was like, you just have to go. So she came back and just showed me all these videos and clips and stuff. And I said, right, I'm just going to do it. So I went to Orlando for the first time in 2016, and changed my life. Just fell in love with it. I thought it was the most magical, incredible, instant, just free.
It's an escape as much as it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and full of so many like-minded people. It was just wonderful. And then as soon as I was there, I kind of got what he said about the kind of innocence and the magic of it all. And I just fell in love with it. So I switched what was my previous more kind of wrestling based Instagram page and Twitter, and X now, isn't it? I didn't have a YouTube at the time, but I used to run his, so I used to do videos and stuff for him on there. So I was like, I can do all this stuff, and I had such a creative output that when he passed away, I missed doing stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
I love editing videos, and I love putting stuff together, and I was having such great time. Like I was going all over the country to various WrestleManias and backstage and all this kind of stuff, and I didn't record any of it. And then when I stopped doing it, I was like, God, I've got all these like great pictures, But I started seeing people more probably in COVID. You know, I've heard a lot of your other guests that you talked about saying, like, I really started watching more vlogs and stuff there because I love Disney food vlog. I always watch that. There was a chap, Sam Mealy, who went to Disney World on his own, do his sort of own solo vlog. And I watched that and I was like, you know, him just going on his own, having the confidence to do it and started filming it all. And it was so like rough and ready, but lovely, you know? And I was like, I'm going to do that. So that's what I did.
Yeah, good man. I love that. I mean, that's wicked as well. Like, it's kind of stemmed from something else to come into this kind of community that we're in now. I love that. Love it. How do you find kind of picking the camera up in the parks?
Sometimes I can just go, like I'm just in the mood and buzzed.
Yeah,
I'm really excited.
In the zone, yeah.
When I started, I'm definitely more confident now. But when I first started it, I'd pick the camera up and then I'd stop and then redo it and stop and redo it, and I was overthinking it way too much. And my partner Stefan was like, you know, if you don't just make this video, I'm going down to the park. You know, he's like, so he was just like, just film it. But you get in your own headspace, you really do. And so many of my like vlogger friends have said to me like, I wish I did it years ago. I didn't have the confidence to do it.
Yeah.
And I tell people, like, even people that contact me now and say, oh, I really want to start vlogging. Like, what camera do you use? What kind of stuff do you use? And I'm like, just pick out your phone and get going. Like, just try and be yourself. But you do need a self-confidence for it. And that's sort of like not be so people aware, because your instinct when you sort of first start vlogging is you try and film and you're doing this and there's like nobody trying to look in thinking, oh, there's no one behind me so I can do this shot. And then as soon as you see someone, you pause. And then you think, I've got to get out of that because Disney, there's people everywhere. But
exactly.
It took a while. I think my first vlog, 2021, I think we went to Halloween party in Disneyland Paris. But yeah, I just fell in love with it.
Yeah. Oh, well, it comes across as well. Like, genuinely, like I said, you know, a few minutes ago, like, genuinely, it does come across that you're enjoying it. So you can come across and be yourself, and it comes across as like entertaining and informative at the same time. So, you know, fair play to you. Keep doing it, like, because you're smashing it, genuinely. Obviously, you said that your first trip was it 2016? Then that was was that your first Orlando trip? Had never been before. How many times have you been since then?
Oh yeah, well, it's just the tragedy of my life. Like my parents planned to go. Like my father always planned to take us, and we were going to go when we were kids, and then my parents unfortunately broke up and didn't happen. And I was just like working and building up your life, and I could never afford to go. I never even, because I didn't think I could. I never thought about it and planned it.
Yeah.
And when I looked more into it, I was like actually spread over a couple of years. And yeah, I just, as soon as I went, I was hooked. I was obsessed. I was like, I need to put the next trip. I need to go everywhere. I have this, my dream would be to go to every single park. So I went in 2016. I've been 7 times since then.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got to get that Disney fix. So
yeah,
I've got the annual pass for Disneyland Paris too. So I hop there in between just to keep
nice. So just in case you need that little top up of Disney, just pop on over to.
You just get hooked. You get so hooked. You really do. And I always found it. I do find it interesting actually, because some people get like really, you know, they really compare the parks, don't they? And say, oh, I prefer Disney, I prefer Disney World, I prefer California. I just love it. I don't mind which one I'm at. I just, obviously Disney World, you can't really compare it to any of the others because it's so big. But I'm like, why debate it? Just go and have fun.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. And I suppose with regards to actually staying in Orlando then, so where do you typically stay when you go there? Are you an on-site kind of guy, off-site?
I am an on-site kind of guy. I love to go in the park. I like to be in the bubble. I think the hotels and the resorts have such a good experience and magic to them. And there's a sort of safety net to that too, isn't there? You know, you just feel everything's just completely in that. You're just entrapped in that innocence and magic of everything permanently. You don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to get cars anywhere, and you know, travel around. So Caribbean Beach, probably my home resort.
Yeah,
I love Caribbean Beach. I've stayed in Pop, stayed in Coronado. I did also stay. I went on my first solo trip, which I didn't vlog. That was when WrestleMania was in Orlando. I think it was WrestleMania 31 or 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. Maybe 32. Maybe
32. And I stayed in a Holiday Inn in Disney Springs. And just incredible. Like the nightlife in Disney Springs is just, it's nothing else like it. So I equally appreciated that experience because it was just mad. I loved it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And I suppose with regards to you kind of staying on site, do you ever kind of get to go out of the parks? Do you do much in terms of outside of the Disney bubble in Orlando as well?
So we definitely go to Universal when we go there, but that's probably like a day park for me. I'm not a massive. Well, I love Universal. So there's nothing else like it.
Yeah.
We certainly don't have anything in the UK like it, but it's not Disney to me, and people always want to strangle me to death when I say that. But it's not somewhere I could stay for like a holiday for like a week or anything. I'd have to. I just go in for the day and out again. But I love going there. I love wandering around the shops too. Like I love the International Drive. I love trying all the food because the Disney food is like really Disney, and if you go outside of the parks, it's like the food you get across the whole of America. Like
really American, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
and
got a classic.
Yeah, there's a place called Cheddar's that we go, which is really good. Everything's sort of cheese inspired, but it's just amazing. I love obviously Hogan's Beach Shop, which is obviously the big
McDonald's.
Yeah, the big McDonald's. I love going in there and seeing all the memorabilia and chatting to people and seeing what I can buy. I love walking around the resorts too. Like my last trip, I went in May. I didn't even know it was there, but I went on this lovely walk from Magic Kingdom to the Grand Floridian. And it was the loveliest, most magical walk. And I just loved it. I think it was my favorite part of the day.
Yeah.
Birds and animals and stuff running around. And I went to the Grand Floridian because I wanted to see where Thunder in Paradise was filmed, which was a show Hulk did years and years ago.
Yeah.
And I just chilled in the bar and had some food. I went in the Park Fair 1900 restaurant, but I loved it. So I try and do something different than just going in the parks every single day.
Yeah, of course.
It can get tiring too. Like you're there all day and you think you're there for 2 weeks, so you want to try and get some new stuff in as well. But I love wandering around the resorts, and especially if there's like pop-up stuff like Christmas, things like that, and they have like special events. But I don't really go too far from Disney. It's probably International Drive and up to
kind of like the as far as you're gonna go. Have you got? You said you obviously where you walk around kind of different resorts. Have you got a resort that's kind of next on the list that you've got to get done?
Oh, it would be Grand Floridian for sure.
Yeah, that's the one.
Grand Floridian, yeah, and the beach hut as well looks stunning.
Yeah,
I want to stay in all of them. It's like
obviously.
like my sister has a very like she's quite resort fussy, put it that way. So she's got to have these things met. And I don't really. I'm just happy to be there. So the last time I went in All Star Sports, which would be my least first pick because I'm not sporty at all, apart from when I like wrestling and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was lovely. I loved it there. It was so fun. It was cute. I had a great time. It was really affordable. And I think you have to think about a lot of it is you're just sleeping.
Exactly that. Yeah. So
you
like
same,
yeah, lovely.
Yeah, and you get the same Mickey shaped waffles and the big pizza slice and everything else you get everywhere else. The chicken tenders, it's the same stuff. So yeah, I definitely think Grand Floridian would be the one I'd love to stay in.
Nice. So I suppose with your last trip, you said that was May, was it?
Mm-hmm.
And you said you stayed at All Star Sports. Did all the parks? I assume all the Disney parks.
I did everything. Yeah.
Did everything.
It was a last minute trip. I booked it literally 2 weeks before. I got a really good deal. It's the cheapest I've ever been. It's about £1,500 all in for everything, which is just mad.
So good. So good.
It's so easy to go. And the thing is, people say and I talk about it in the vlog, like they don't have the confidence to go solo, especially to Disney, because they think everyone's looking at them and they don't have the confidence to do it. And I'm like, just get on the plane and go, because everyone's just having fun. No one's looking at you, just having the best time of your life. And it's so cheap too, because you can get that last minute seat or the last minute upgrade because there's not two of you. So it was bliss.
Yeah, nice. And I suppose before that trip, because I know you know this because I've been watching your videos. your trip before that one, when was that one? Was that earlier this year?
No, that was Paris. That was
right.
Paris.
Okay.
I went to Disney World in September last year. We went.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that one, that one was the one where you flew Bristol with TUI?
It was Bristol with TUI, and it was incredible. Yeah. It was like it's a 20-minute drive from here to my father's place. So I just parked the car up at his, walked across. It felt really strange going to Orlando from Bristol, but the whole tour experience was the best I've had. Like you just get off the plane in Melbourne, and then they put you on a coach, take you to your hotel. The app texts you constantly if the coach is going to be 5 minutes late. Like they were so wonderful. Like I've never had that level of customer service, but unfortunately they stopped going from Bristol, so this was the last trip that they did. but I loved it, and it was so much fun. Like I did Halloween Horror Nights in Universal for the first time, which was just insane. See, that kind of thing I do every night. I loved that. It was just
Yeah.
the best time of our lives. We loved like Halloween and horror films and things like that. So that was such a good experience. And we also did the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween, which was just, I think you have to do them like a couple of times because there was so much stuff you couldn't get everything in.
Yeah, I can't in everything. Yeah.
And you have to like charge around. You know, you really do have to charge around. It's not as chilled as the Christmas party, put it that way, where you can just sort of like grab your cookies and wander around. It was the Halloween party. It's like, I think there's like there's such a big drive in Orlando, isn't there, for Halloween?
Yeah. Big time. Yeah.
People love it. People love it. But my highlight of that trip was Halloween Horror Nights for sure.
Yeah. Fantastic. So when's your next trip then?
Our next trip's in November.
Nice. So not long at all.
Um,
Countdown. What we under 100 days at this point? Is it?
It is. So we've got our sort of big 2-week trip planned for next year. We're staying in Coronado Springs, and our trip this year we're going to All Star Movies, but we want to do all the Christmas stuff and the Christmas party. I'm a big Christmas fan.
Yeah.
Like I want to get everything in, but that's flying from Heathrow with Virgin.
Nice.
And you get such a good experience with Virgin. Like you kind of know what you're going to get with them.
Yeah, I think they're consistent, aren't they? Like I think they've set the bar and they're consistent to that. So yeah, they'll always be compared against. I think if any of us go with a different airline, I think that's probably fair, isn't it?
I've never flown with BA, and I hear such mixed things. People are like, "Oh, don't go with them." I'm like, why? Like it looks nice, but I've never done it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I talked to a lot of people about kind of going to Orlando. I've only ever gone with Virgin. I've kind of stuck with it. I've only ever gone with them. I've had good experiences, so I've had no reason to go elsewhere. But yeah, absolutely. I don't doubt there's probably some good deals elsewhere as well.
It's interesting though, because if TUI wasn't flying from Bristol, I wouldn't have gone with them.
Yeah.
Because I read all that stuff and think, you want that Virgin experience, but it was fabulous. Like it was such a good trip, and I was thinking, God, how many years have they flown from Bristol? And I've been driving down the motorway for 2 hours.
Yeah, literally.
But yeah, I love Virgin.
Yeah, nice, exciting trip then. And obviously, like you said, you've got the next one after that planned as well. What kind of time of year is that next year as well?
That's in November. I'm a Black Friday boy, so I love to go over and get. I mean, the deals. I should have said that before, actually, when you asked about outside activities. The deals you can get shopping in the Florida Islands is just amazing. It's like you can get stuff so cheap. We literally take a blank suitcase, emptied.
Love it.
Go there and fill it up with stuff, and it's so cheap. Like Nike store and stuff. They like sing and dance at you when it opens, and it's just you still get that sort of customer service experience. Yeah, we just get the whole wardrobe for the next year, like a lot cheaper than you get it over here. But it's part of the fun, and it's not as manic as people think. But I definitely Uber if you're going to go rather than drive. But it was great. I loved it.
Yeah, nice. I suppose getting into the parks then, we've got my kind of new fun little feature, which is keep updating clothes. I gave you 3 options. I think I might have been a bit mean. I'm not gonna lie. I'm giving you 3 mean options. The options I gave Steve were Tower of Terror, Peter Pan's Flight, and Soarin'. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I looked at it again a minute ago and I thought I was really horrible when I gave you those.
Yeah, and it was keep updating clothes, right?
Yeah. So one of them's gone.
The Keeps Tower of Terror. I love Tower of Terror.
Yeah, gotta be surely.
Just immense. I would close Soarin'.
Soarin's gone. Nice.
Soarin's gone. Well, I was thinking about it because this is a tough decision. So I was thinking, you're flying around, there's a big video screen, and you get a bit of squirt of orange spray, and it's nice. It's lovely.
Yeah.
But Peter Pan's legendary. It's like
there's a nostalgia there, isn't there?
There's such a 2 different camps, isn't there, Peter Pan?
Yeah, I obviously you've listened to the podcast. I've got a lot of people when I asked the question kind of later on of most overrated, and honestly, I reckon 75-80% of people have said Peter Pan. And I don't think it's the ride. I think it's the wait time. That's what kind of gets everyone.
It's lovely, and I think it's a bit like Carousel of Progress for me. It's traditional, and I like I like the nostalgia of Disney because I think they do a really good way of bringing everything in. But like people give me grief because I'm like, they're going nuts to get on Guardians, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to change my whole day to get. Yeah, I love the traditional Disney stuff, and I think the thing with Peter Pan is the queue time never makes sense. Why is it? And it moves quickly.
Yeah.
Why does it take so long to get in? But I do love it, and it's interesting because everyone I go on the ride with is like, why did we queue for that? Not going on that again. I'm not queuing for that long, but yeah, it's iconic, and I don't think it'll ever go.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's one of those that it's gotta stay. But obviously, you put it in update. So what would you potentially do to it then? I mean, this is the big question now, isn't it?
The thing with the Peter Pan ride is you know, when you walk in, you've got like the shadowy bells and everything else, that really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And you go the first time, you think, how on earth?
Yeah.
And I love that part. And it does kind of feel like it's a little bit downhill from there. So,
right, got to peaks early.
Yeah, but then we're just flying around London, so I'm probably thinking, oh, this isn't so special to us. If you're from, you know, like some of my friends in America are obsessed with London. I'm very, it's all right, you know.
You're like, Matt, yeah.
Yeah, I go there a lot, yeah, and I'd have more animatronics.
Yeah,
it's a bit jolty, and some of it doesn't really make sense. But I don't know, like maybe change the story, update the story.
Yeah, a bit of a zhuzh it up a bit. Zhuzh it up a bit and make it a bit smoother, kind of. Yeah,
it's like the Winnie the Pooh, you know. It's one of those rides that I never really went on, and I went on it for the first time in my trip in May, which is crazy. I've never been on it before, and it was insane because I was thinking, oh, it's you know, I'll have a little rest stop before I go stomping off, and but it was bouncing up and down and going mad, and I was like, wait a minute, this is the other way around. This is like you have lower expectations and it exceeds them.
Yeah.
And I think on Peter Pan, I think people expect a lot for the queue. I think that's what they.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah,
I think if it was a small queue, they'd enjoy it.
Yeah, indeed. It's interesting, and it's good to find someone who's a Peter Pan fan. I will be honest, because
there's not enough Peter. There's not enough Peter Pan. Not enough Muppets. There needs to be more of both.
Yeah, I mean, if I find more, I'll point them your way. I'm sure I will. I suppose staying in the parks, then we kind of got my kind of main 5 questions that I go to in every episode. And the first question is, what is your favorite ride? Can be in any park, but favorite ride.
My favorite ride was Splash Mountain.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
I've not been on the new one, but I was very sad. I love the music, the experience of it.
Yeah.
I could loop.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
My new favorite ride would be Mickey and Minnie's Runaway. I love that.
Yeah. Again, music like in your head rest of the day. But yeah, it's a wonderful ride. I think it's a great addition as well, I think.
Oh, it's 100% needed too. Like, I know some people were upset because the Great Movie Ride closed, but I wasn't blown away when I went on that for the first time.
No.
When I went for the first time in 2016, you know, it'd been there a long time, so it was new to me, but not to everyone else. But it was like, you know, there weren't very late movies in there, if you know what I mean. So
yeah,
it
exactly
was
that.
cute.
Yeah, and I know what you mean. Like, obviously, over time, the audience changes because, you know, when it came out, you know, it was relevant at the time. But when something like that gets replaced with something like Mickey and Minnie's, which is a really, really good, solid replacement, then eventually I think people are pretty happy with it. I mean, it's probably
and it makes you smile. It's the ride for everybody. Like, it's
there you go. Yeah.
It's you don't really know what to expect. Even the whole entrance, you know, where the screen explodes and you walk through. I mean, it's just immense. And I think I always found it strange for years. I was like, why is there not a Mickey ride?
Bizarre. Totally bizarre. Yeah.
Where's Mickey? But I always wished, because there was a Stitch ride and like an alien encounter ride, wasn't there? I never got to do those, and both of those look really cool. I'm trying to think. It was in Magic Kingdom. Yeah.
In it, yeah. Oh, I remember it when it was the original Alien one before it was Stitch, and that was
supposed to be like proper scary, right?
Yeah. I was like 5, and that thing scared the life out of me. Like, I just remember, like, and I think my parents didn't know what it was when they took us on it. So like when it obviously started going off, and like the whole room is screaming. Yeah,
I would love to have done it. I watched a lot of the yesteryears of Disney on YouTube, and about about the stories about the rides in the park and how they come together and all that kind of stuff. And I was watching that one and I was thinking, wow, like that wouldn't fit in my mind in Disney because
Yeah,
everyone thinks it's terrifying, but I would love to have done it.
yeah,
Love to have done that. And
absolutely.
there's so many rides that have sort of come and gone. Like I never got to do the Captain EO in Epcot, you know, the Michael Jackson experience. I'd love to have done that too.
Yeah,
But yeah, you just have, that's the thing. I mean, people say about things updating and changing, but they actually always have. If you look over time, these
oh
things have
yeah,
always evolved.
and ultimately, I think they've got to. I know there's some stuff that like some stuff can stay forever. I think it remains untouched, but you know there are other things that they show their age, and eventually something fresher and potentially better can come in.
Yeah,
And it'd be interesting to see with Tiana's, because I haven't done it either. So interesting what you said with Splash Mountain being your favorite from before, but it'd be good to see. Good to see. I've avoided watching any videos or anything like that on it because I want it
same,
to be like a
same.
surprise. But
I'm
so
I'm 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 kind of like on the shelf with it, see if I like it. But then Disneyland Paris announced the sort of Lion King inspired splash, didn't they, for Paris?
yeah,
So maybe that'll keep me happy. But
yeah,
I loved Splash Mountain. I loved all of it. So I was like, no. But my partner loves the Bugs Life. You know, the little, you know,
yeah,
put the 3D glasses on. Loves that, and that's going to close for Zootopia, right? I think, isn't it, or something?
yeah.
But that's the first sort of experience he ever went on when he went to Disney World. So to him, it's like really special.
Then there's a nostalgia again. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly, and yeah, it's so it's like everyone's got their own little ride that's special to them.
absolutely. So I suppose in terms of things being special to you, what's your favorite park then?
Hollywood Studios all day long.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was
I
going that way.
Did you? I love Hollywood Studios. Even like I love the ice cream sundae, you know, the hot fudge sundae that you get
Yeah,
from Scoop, Tara Mickey's, the music, you know, the don't sit under the apple tree. I just love it. I could be there all day, not doing
yeah,
anything. I love it. I don't really go to the Star Wars side much. I kind of
yeah.
stay,
Fair enough.
you know, in the main bit. Although I loved, you know, experiencing them for the first time. I mean, Rise of Resistance was amazing. Smuggler's Run, I think it depends which role you get.
Yeah, I
If you're not,
completely agree. Yeah,
if you're not the pilot, don't do it. Like,
if you're the
move on.
engineer, like this is probably not the most exciting thing ever. Yeah, yeah, completely agree. Nice, and obviously it's got Muppets, and you said you're a Muppets fan as well.
I love Muppet. Where's the Muppet shop gone? Like, where's all the Muppet love gone from Disney? Like, and how long will it be till Muppet Land's completely
Yeah, I mean,
empty?
I don't want I don't want to say it, but I think it might be on borrowed time.
And why? Like, why are there no Muppets anywhere?
Yeah,
Like,
I think
Muppets
yeah, it's that they
are
need
they
they
big?
need to they need to bring Muppets back as a relevant, potentially like a relevant IP. I think if and I think they can do it. That's it. But
They easily could because you know Miss Piggy is iconic. The Muppet Vision, which I love to do when I'm there. The only thing I don't like is that little animated thing, you know, that talks to you throughout the ride, and then
yeah, yeah,
that's the only thing I'm like, you know, that's the thing that they could update and make it more fresh. But I love it, and when I first went, they had like loads of like there was like the pizza place, which is sometimes open, sometimes not, and then you've got the Muppet shop or the Muppet merch. But I guess it wasn't super popular.
yeah, yeah. I guess you know, and I think just over time as well, isn't it? And I suppose, like you said, with Hollywood Studios, with it adding, you know, things like Galaxy's Edge and maybe Toy Story Land as well, like those end up being the more popular kind of attractions and rides because they're newer, and that's it.
I
But
just think there's such a, I guess, such a sense of tradition in Hollywood. I love it, and it makes
yeah,
me feel really nostalgic and happy. And I think because I know so many people say Magic Kingdom, but because I go to Disneyland Paris as well, it's not super hugely different the experience, if
yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah, yeah,
And I think Hollywood is just its own fabulous little world, if you know what I mean. It's like, you know, I love it. And years ago, when I think, well, when I first went in 2016, before the Star Wars bit was built, they used to have the stormtroopers like walking up and down.
yeah,
Um, I loved that. That was really cool. And I was like, I probably preferred that than how they have it now.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, Hollywood's just yeah, it's the best place for me to be.
yeah. Nice. So it's a wonderful park. It really is. Have you got a like a hidden gem? So or a most underrated attraction? Can be an attraction, show, whatever fits them.
I would say the Country Bears. I love the Country Bears, and no one ever goes on to see the Country Bears, but it's so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't got it, so like, yeah,
There you go. You're missing out. Like the
yeah,
Country Bears. I love the Country Bears, and they come out and dance before the show, so you get a whole thing there where one of the bears comes out with a cast member and starts dancing around. But
yeah.
it was it just seemed really mad to me. It's all of it seemed crazy, and I loved it.
Kind of embracing the madness.
I didn't know who the Country Bears were. I'd never seen them before, and I was like, "What is this?" I'd walked past it many times. I went in and laughed my head off. I thought it's so much fun.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about as well, isn't it? Like, you know, if it's, you know, brings a smile to your face, that's then it's done what it was set out to do. 100%.
I'm a big Small World fan as well. A lot of my friends don't want to go on Small World, but I love Small World.
Again, it's a nostalgic one. Is that a must do every trip?
Absolutely, it's top 5.
Is it
always?
nice?
Yeah. I love Small World because
love
it's just a balance, isn't it? You know, you're gonna have the craziness of Tron, and then you can have an ice cream and just chill out in Small World, and then go off and do something else.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. And I suppose going from kind of most underrated then to most overrated ride, I think it's difficult. Guardians. You're going Guardians.
Easy.
Nice.
Like,
okay.
Every time.
And just based on the hype that people give it as much as anything, or what kind of based on, or that you just don't think the ride is maybe as good as what people are making out?
Well, it's good, it's fun, but it's like, I think it's like, but then I love Tron, and some people say the same thing about that, you know, they're like, oh, I didn't, like what's the big deal? And I come off like the theming of Tron when you go in from the music and the vibe, and you know, which, oh god, yeah, it's just amazing. The I think for me, I would keep Tron and get rid of Test Track, because that's one of my other ones I'm a bit like, you know, with. But I think the Guardians, I think it was overhyped, and I went on it expecting more, and it was, I don't know, I'm not a massive fan of the video screen and the rides.
Yeah.
And I think like I prefer like a rock and roller coaster kind of. I think it might just be preference, because if I loved the Marvel stuff, I'd probably adore it.
There you go. Yeah, exactly that. And like, you know, that's the thing with IPs as well. Like, it's, you know, it can be brilliant as a draw for the park to have, you know, a Guardians of the Galaxy ride, but if you're not into Marvel and Guardians of the Galaxy, it doesn't have the same effect.
It doesn't draw me. Like I watch the films. I always enjoy the films, but I never watch them again. I don't buy any Marvel stuff. I haven't got any Marvel stuff. I'm not like anti-Marvel. I enjoy it. It's really fun. Like I love Spider-Man and the Spider-Man films and that kind of stuff. But I think because of the IP situation between Universal and Disney World, I think for what they owned, what they have, like, where's the Simpsons land? You know what I mean? Like, there's so much stuff they could do. There should be a really huge like Spider-Man present. Again, for me, it's like I like the legends and all the, you know, all the iconic stuff, I guess, because that's what I grew up with. Like, and I don't dislike the Marvel stuff, but I just felt it was overhyped.
Yeah, nice. You're the first one to say Guardians, but I'm sure you're not the first and only person to think it. I'm sure there's many out there, because me included, I hype that ride a lot. Like, I genuinely will. But I'm on the other side. I'm a big Marvel fan, so I totally get it. I totally understand. So no, good shout. I like your take on it. And I suppose final question to kind of wrap the podcast up then, and we kind of touched on it already, but what's your favorite thing to do outside of the parks then?
Explore, I'd say, because I mean, Disney World is so incredible. It's so much more than just the park. Like, there's so much stuff I haven't done, like rent a boat, or, you know, go to the Polynesian and watch the fireworks on like the little beach area. There's so much stuff I see in vlogs that people do.
Yeah,
that's still in Disney World, because it's hard to get me out of the park. Firstly, like I normally have to get dragged out because someone's feet are tired, and people complain to me they can't keep up because I'm just be there. I just get lost in the spectacle of everything. But I love exploring. Like, we went to, you know, when I went to the Grand Floridian and just explored that, I was like, oh my god, this is like 2 minutes away from Magic Kingdom. Never been here. And it was just, and just like seeing other people and seeing how they experience it. There were like people from like kids and young families, these sort of like super rich old ladies that were just hanging there for the day that probably had no interest in going in the park. And there was a guy there playing the piano. It was just amazing. But you don't get the buzz there that you get from like Caribbean, where everyone's just jamming and chilling and having a good time, you know. So I just think, I don't know how many times you'd have to go to Disney World to get everything in,
Yeah.
There's so much to do outside of the park, and I just want to do everything. Get
Yeah.
in as
I
much
mean,
as I can.
as much anything, it means you got to keep going back.
I would, yeah. I really want to rent a boat and watch the fireworks that way.
Oh, it'd be
I'd love
stunning,
to
wouldn't
do
it?
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Got to be done. Top of the bucket list.
It is right
Nice.
at the top of the bucket list. I would, and I'm playing with the idea of DVC as well, because I love when I watch the people that go and they get the points and stay in like the Riviera and stuff like that, because there's a whole side to that and the perks of that which seem really good.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I'm always obsessed with the dining plan. I'm always like, get the dining plan, get the dining plan. You just think, well, you're probably paying for it in the long run, but get the
Yeah.
deals.
Yeah, exactly that. Cool. That kind of wraps up my questions. And genuinely, I've really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed obviously chatting with yourself and finding out about your take on Orlando and hearing about your past trips and future trips and kind of everything in between. It's been spot on.
I've had a great time, and everyone needs to check your podcast out, because from my experience of meeting everybody and my different friends from everyone's different backgrounds, everyone's got a different story
Yeah,
for how they got into Disney, how they love Disney, and everyone's got different lives. And you bring everyone together. You're the only person I know that's done it in that way. You put so many different vloggers and guests together that all share the same thing, but they all love it in a different way. Like, I'm probably going to get killed because I didn't like Guardians, but there'll be someone like, oh no, I agree with you. But it's like all of us come from different journeys, different pathways.
exactly that, and that's what it's about, isn't it? Yeah,
really nice.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. It's really nice to hear. And I love doing these guest episodes. Like, genuinely, the opportunity to chat with people such as yourself about your experiences, it is fantastic. And it makes my week every week that I get to sit down and do this as a hobby is unbelievable.
Well, you're doing a great thing, and I really enjoyed being on here.
So this was the episode with Steve from Steve's Disney Adventures. Genuinely, what a pleasure it was to have Steve on the podcast. We had such a great chat. I really enjoyed it. So please do go and check out his Instagram. Please go and check out his YouTube channel as well. Honestly, he's got some of the best content out there. I really enjoy his vlogs. They're brilliant. So once again, thank you all so much for listening to the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will speak to you all in the next one.